So greetings from here in Pennsylvania once again, and we're back here in Dauphin County. Kind of a sad day, but a momentous day too. We're going to finish out our series on the Union Canal here today. And it's going to be a scorcher today. We'll be mostly driving around, not doing a whole lot of exploring today. But yeah, but I mean, in some ways this series will never be officially over. You know, if I ever come across new information or things I didn't find out before, we'll always add to this series. But today we're going to finish, in a way, finish today. So I'm currently here at what's called the Fulling Mill Road, right along the Swatara Creek here. I was here just in the previous video when we were traveling along the rail line here, the Middletown and Hummelstown Railroad. But you can see the rail line right there. We traveled along that just a couple of days ago with Dan and that one truck that could travel on the rail. And this is the parking area. We might quick see he pointed out some remains of the canal that were just right up there. We might try and take a look at that in a little bit too, but yeah. But yeah, we're gonna make our way down to Middletown, right along the Susquehanna River. That's where the Union Canal ended. And like I said, that's where our series is gonna end as well. We're gonna stop at a few places. We're gonna stop down a little ways where Lock 34 was, and isn't anymore. But we'll talk about that when we get down there. And then we'll head into Middletown. Really nothing is left of the canal in Middletown, but I'm going to try and point out a few places like where there was like a basin, a huge basin of water. We'll talk about what that was for, and where the canal actually ended. I'm going to try and get to that spot. It won't don't be anything there because it's all covered in houses and stuff, but we'll try and get there too. And also, of course, we're working on the Delaware Canal too, how that series going on, but there's a new canal that I'm going to pick up as well. I'll let you try and figure that out. You can guess which one it is. I think it'll be a good idea to do that one because I'm also hiking what's called the Mason-Dixon Trail, and that's going to coincide with that canal a little bit. I'll let you figure that out. You can guess down in the comments which canal that's going to be. I'll tell it at the end of the video. I'll let you know, but we're going to hop. Maybe we'll take a look down at the creek here again, and then we'll so I want to see if I can see the remains of the canal up there, right behind the FedEx building. But anyway, and once again, here's a view of the Swatara Creek. Here's where the rail line goes, because we went down there, like I said. A lot hotter today, though. Yeah. Need to go kayaking again sometime. But here, they do have a map up here. It's pretty beat up. Just to show you where we're at. So we are currently right here at Fulling Mill Road. So we're gonna make our way down to where Lock 34 was. We're gonna have to come back here, down here, go up Vine Street. And right down here is Middletown, because our canal is following the Swatara Creek here. So we're gonna head down into here a little bit later today after we check out this area where Lock 34 was. But I'm also we're gonna drive up here quick. When I was with Dan on the railroad, he mentioned that the canal went right up through here. So sometimes you can see a little bit of it, but with it all overgrown, you may not be able to see anything, but let's check it out anyway, since we're here. So I think right in through here is where it was, but you can see it's all totally overgrown. Looks like a mowed trail going back there, but yeah, there used to be a farm here, Dan said, and it was more visible when you put the FedEx plant in up here. It kind of, well, you know, it does things. I'm not sure if anything visible on the other side of the road either, really. Maybe in the wintertime when it's not all so overgrown, you can see like that canal shape going through there, but nothing right now. All right, let's head up. We gotta head up and head down to, Lock 34 area was just down there, but there's no road going down there, so we're gonna have to go the roundabout way. Let's get there. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna take you with me, drive along together. So when we were on we took that little trip on the railroad, I think we did stop at where Lock 34 was. I think I pointed it out roughly. Well, I don't think they know exactly where it was anymore, but we're gonna stop there again, just quick, include it more in this series. Plus I just on my way here, I got a message from Dan with just a little bit more information about Lock 34, which is actually great timing, to be honest. He didn't know I was coming out here today to film again, so that worked out, great timing. And apparently, there were, up until not too long ago, there were some remains of the lock tender's house there too, at least the foundations, but unfortunately they are gone, but we'll talk about that. I'll share the message he sent to me So we're gonna get out here onto what is this, Union Street. Start making our way down to Middletown. All right, so we just went over Route 283. I think we'll be hooking up with 441 up here. So we gotta go into Middletown and then make our way back up out of Middletown to Vine Street. Just the way the roads work. But the canal would have been off to our left a little ways. So we're still kind of following it. And we saw there are a few between where we just were at Foley Mill and where Lock 34 is. There were a few visible remains of the canal, but we saw those in the previous video. Thankfully, when we got to be on the rails there. That was a fun adventure, actually. Yeah, this is 441. The sign is just not there anymore. That fell off. All right, so we gotta get on to Main Street. And like I said, we will try to get to the point where the Union Canal ended. Didn't necessarily. It's kind of interesting because it didn't necessarily end right at the Susquehanna River. It may have initially, but in 1840 another canal was completed along the Susquehanna River, the Pennsylvania Canal. And at least from 1840 onward, the Union Canal emptied right into the Pennsylvania Canal. Not sure exactly how things worked prior to then, but we'll talk about that, like I said. I got some ideas. All right, looking for Main Street. And this is probably it up here. Yes, this is Middletown. So we're just south of Harrisburg. Yes, we'll go left. And then we'll look for Vine Street off to our left up here. And then we'll head out of Middletown again. I'm sure there's probably a different way I could take it on some back roads and stuff, but I just chose to go this way. If you're local to the area, you're probably like, hey, you should have gone that way. And yeah, maybe I should have, but I'm not a local, so. I see Vine Street. So this will take us back to the railroad tracks. This actually goes across the Swatara Creek, but we don't want to go that far. I think this is where I need to turn, Swatara Park Road. Because I think that's the bridge up there. I almost went over the bridge. Yeah, down here are the railroad tracks. Yeah. So I think I'll just pull up right over here. All right, so here we are once again. That's Vine Street up there. There's the Swatara Creek. Right up here with the railroad tracks. And even down in there, whoops, I tripped on the thing here. There's kind of remnants of the canal coming right next to the railroad tracks. And this is Frays Grove Lane. So somewhere around in here was Lock 34. I'm not sure if they remember exactly where, but like I said, I got a message from Dan about that. I'll try and bring it up again, read it to you. So Dan had messaged someone else that knows a lot more about the area. Yet his response was, unfortunately the lock is buried and the foundations of the lock keeper's house were demolished by the township after Tropical Storm Lee, which I think was in 2011. They had to do it to conform to FEMA requirements that nothing above ground remains after property buyout. So that's kind of a shame. So I guess there were some remains of the lock keeper's house foundation, but according to government regulations, they had to demolish. Even though those ruins would have been historic, I feel like the township could have fought that. But anyway, I'm not an expert on that stuff, so that's kind of a shame that they were destroyed. So Lock 34 is buried, and there's really nothing left to see here in the area. But that's it is what it is. So somewhere around here was Lock 34. So there might be someone out there who knows exactly where it was located. I know in other parts of that message, I didn't read everything to you, but it does mention Frays Grove, and there's a sign for Frays Grove right there. So maybe it was just, like I said, the canal. There's like a little bit of a ditch down that way, so who knows. But maybe it was buried by the railroad too. Or who knows, I mean, just when they put this in, and the road, just get the railroad, you get the highways, all kinds of stuff happened here to bury things. But that's what progress does to history, kind of destroys it. All right, but we're gonna hop back in the Jeep in the air conditioning, and we're gonna head back into Middletown. The next place I'm gonna stop at is where there was a huge basin of water. Maybe I might talk a little bit of that with you as we drive along. But those basins of water are common in some of the cities. We'll talk about why. I think I'm gonna try and point out where it was if we can get there. Actually, I think there's an old, I think there's an old ferry house there too, that for ferrying boats across the Swatara Creek. Anyway, we'll try to find a place to park for that. All right, so we gotta get back into town, back to 441. Yeah, so this basin of water served several purposes. It was just it was like a reservoir of water for the canal. But it's also a place, you can think of it like a parking lot for the canal boats. It was a place just to store your boat, especially over winter when things would ice over or things like that. And it was just a kind of a stop too before you got into the other, like I mentioned, it would flow the Union Canal, then entered the Pennsylvania Canal. So it was there was a lock between that reservoir of water and the Pennsylvania Canal. So it was just kind of a stopping point along the way. Like I said, there was one of those in the city of Lebanon. I think I saw some pictures of it. And there was one at Union Deposit too. So they were common in cities like this, or towns, to have like a large basin, almost like a pond or a lake that the canal was a part of. Oftentimes there's a lot of traffic, at the end of the canals as boats were trying to enter into the Pennsylvania Canal, so it gave them a place to wait for their turn to get in and things like that. There were probably a lot of docks along that basin too, for people to unload and load their goods. So we're going to try and get to where it was. There's absolutely nothing left, as far as I know, to suggest that it was there. When you look on the modern maps, I found an old map showing where it was, but when you look at the modern map, it's just all, town. There's nothing left. So probably shortly after the canal was abandoned, that area was just filled in and built on top of. Let's just see if I can find what I'm looking for here. I mean, as far as signs go, there are some remnants of the canal. There's a Canal Street. Well, there's Fisher Avenue. We want to find that later. There's Canal Street, so you know it's named that because of the canal. So there are some name reminders of the of what used to be here. All right, I think we're closing in. 441 is going to go across the Swatara Creek up here, but we want to go straight. Not just yet. Oh, here's Union Street. These names are familiar because I was looking at the map last night real closely where I needed to go. I feel like, I just crossed. I made a mistake. I just crossed this Tar Creek here. I didn't want to do that. All right. I goofed somewhere. All right, it's all good now. Yeah, I came down here and went straight across the creek up there. I needed to turn right here. That was my mistake, but it's all good now. So, yeah, and check this out. Over here is the Swatara Ferry House. Check out how that looks cool. But I was thinking about parking in that parking lot too, but this area here, it's fairly flat right in here. This is where that basin of water was, right in this area, all around in here. But as you can see, it's all town now. It's all filled in. Nothing left of it. You wouldn't even know. That's how time changes things. Not sure for how far it became. I'm trying to picture my mind, but yeah. All right. But while we're here, let's quick check this out. Yeah, I mean, not Union Canal related, but this 1.5-story log building, originally construction 2 sections. In the late early 18th was the ferry house when a ferry boat plied to Swatara Creek at this point. Cool. That is cool. Old log building. That looks like an old church or something. Alright, there you go. So yeah, the canal would have come down this way and into this basin of water here. And now we're going to head up to where it ended. Let's stand here in the shade for a moment. It's a hot one today. But yeah, like I said, the Pennsylvania Canal, which traveled along the banks of the Susquehanna River, it was completed in 1840. From that point and beyond, the Union Canal joined up with the Pennsylvania Canal. Prior to that, the canal, it wouldn't have just gone straight into the Susquehanna River. It would have probably traveled along a little bit, and there probably been like a small dam to create an area of backwater, they call it, or slack water, and the canal would have probably emptied into the Susquehanna at some point there. Or maybe I'm trying to think if it ever actually if it ever opened directly up. It probably did at some point. There's probably a lock. And that's another thing too. It's a plane just taking off. There's an airport right over there. Anyway, just show that to you. It's gone now. Anyway, hold on a second. Yeah, those plays are loud. We just got done looking where lock 34 was. That's the last lock that I know anything about, to be honest. My research showed that there was 39 locks on the west side of the canal, because there was like 54 on the east side. So where were those other locks? They're probably here in town. Like the one map I saw showed a lock between the basin and the Pennsylvania Canal. So they were probably more here in town or just outside of town. It's just that there's absolutely nothing left of them. I couldn't find any maps that showed where they were exactly, except for that one, like I said. So they're probably here, but even if we knew exactly where they were, they're completely gone. So that's, like I said, that's fortunately the way it is with history. Progress kind of covers things over. But I think there's another plane coming up this way. Oh, there it comes. Oh, that's like more of a military plane. You see it up there. Cool. Alright. Well, we're gonna hop back in the Jeep here and we're gonna head up towards State Street and Fisher Avenue. Up that way somewhere to the end. Let's get going. Alright, so we're gonna pull out of the ferry house spot here and we're gonna head down. This is Union Street. We need to find State Street. Yes, I'm not sure what I think. Coming to the end of this series, it's been quite the series. Pushed me to my limits in some ways. A lot of searching, a lot of just busting through brush and briars and all kinds of stuff, looking for remains of the Union Canal. Had a lot of cool experiences though too. Met some interesting people. So I'm glad I pushed myself in this series. I really did. So here's State Street. So we're kind of like coming to the end here. I mean, I hope I don't start crying here. Come to the end of this series. Catherine Street. So we're looking for Fisher Avenue. I think it's up here where State Street kind of dead ends. There isn't going to be anything significant to see here. It just kind of, yeah, that's kind of sad in a way too. Wood Street. I think this is it, what we want up here. Yeah, Fisher. So I'm going to turn right up here. Yeah, right in here is the area. Like, literally right here is where... Right in here. Let me pull up here a little bit. Yeah, so literally right here in this area somewhere, you know, is where the Union Canal came down this way and met up with the Pennsylvania Canal, which kind of ran through here. You have Fisher, and there's the signs of Fisher and State. Yeah, but you wouldn't know these days. Just absolutely nothing left. Absolutely nothing. All right. Journey's end right here. And to be honest, kind of a non-climactic end. There's really nothing here to see historically. Just nothing at all. But anyway, I'm not going to end the video here. I'm going to take you down to one more little surprise. All right, like I said, I'm going to take you just one more spot. Gotta find my way out of here. Yeah, I stopped abruptly talking there. The guy that lived there kind of came out, wondered what I was doing. But he was cool about it, and we talked a little bit about the history. I told him why I was there, you know. Like that was, you know, that spot there right by his house is a significant spot, actually, but, you know, he wouldn't know today. Where am I going? All right. I think I got to turn around here somewhere. But yeah, we started talking about 3 Mile Island. He remembers, we're probably about the same age, because he was pretty young, but he remembers, I'll just go up this way. He remembers, I think they had to leave the area. So yeah. He's probably wondering what someone's doing just off his property with a camera there. All right. I gotta figure out where I'm going. So yeah, I'm gonna take when I filmed years ago, I filmed a video on Route 441, exploring Pennsylvania, one of those exploring Pennsylvania highways video, and I had stopped in at this spot. It's related to what we're doing today, and it'll be a nice place to stop to finish out this series, I think. So let me figure out how to get there. All right, I know where I am now. Back on Union Street. I don't know, those planes make a lot of noise flying overhead. Oh yeah, there's a Canal Street right there. That goes over the... Maybe we would go this way. Let's take Canal Street. I think this will take us where we need to go too. So yeah, right near where the canal was. Because like there were 2 canals here. It was not just the Union Canal, but the Pennsylvania Canal. Actually, there's 3 Mile Island over there. This is probably more for the Pennsylvania Canal right here, because there was an aqueduct for the Pennsylvania Canal right in this area. Even though this is the Union Canal series, it's just kind of part of the history here too. So that canal street is probably more for the Pennsylvania Canal, I think. Speaking of which, that's kind of what we're headed to. There's a lock up here across the way. This is just 441 again, I think. And of course, I have to let you know what the new series is going to be too, which canal is going to be the next one. Maybe you forgot about thinking about it, but here's your opportunity to think about it once again, which is going to be the next. So we finishing up the Union Canal right here today. We're still doing the Delaware Canal, but might as well start another one too. The Delaware Canal is a fairly easy one because we're biking. The towpath is, bikeable the whole length, and that's pretty much what we're doing. There are a few iffy sections we skipped and some closures, but it's kind of a different experience on the Delaware Canal. So which one are we doing next? I'll let you think about it. I gotta try and remember which. Oh, that's where I want right there. Okay, I gotta turn around. I'm not talking to you guys and not paying attention. Yeah, right. Here's where I wanted to turn in, Water Street. Over the tracks. I can see it off to the right there. All right, so here we are. I think they call this the Canal boat launch area because you can head up that way and there's a boat launch area. But down here is a lock. Not for the Union Canal, but for the Pennsylvania Canal, one that's preserved here. You see the beautiful stonework there. Just thought it'd be a good place to end. Yeah, there it is. There's a little bit of water in it. As we look this way, you can see how there's just nothing left of it this way. And unfortunately, it's a bit overgrown. They could really, you know what I'm gonna say, they could really clean this out pretty well. It's a shame. Anyway, kind of view the stonework down there. All right. I thought if we're not going to see any locks on the Union Canal today, we might as well try to get a view of another one. Let's head down. Maybe we can get a better view of it down here. And to answer the question of which canal we're doing next, some of you might think the Pennsylvania Canal. Hey, look, he's here at the Pennsylvania Canal, and look at one of the locks. And no, we're not doing the Pennsylvania Canal next. That's a long one to do. Pretty complex one. We're not doing that one. Maybe someday we will, but not right now. I gave you a little hint about which one I was going to be doing next. I mentioned the Mason-Dixon Trail. So let's take a look down this way at the lock. I don't know what number this is on the canal, but there's a better look at it. Like I said, it's heavily overgrown, but there you go. Yeah, Canal Boat Launch Recreation Area it's called. There's the sign for it. So I think there's more parking up that way too. So I think I did a video on 3 Mile Island too. I think I parked here somewhere. All right, but let's keep you waiting. Which canal series are we gonna start next? So there are plenty of canals to choose from. There's the Schuylkill Canal, which is not far from where I live. Like I mentioned, the Pennsylvania Canal. There's the Juniata Canal. But the one that we're gonna do is the Susquehanna and Tidewater Canal. It starts up in Wrightsville, PA, just across the river from Columbia, in Lancaster County, and travels down the west side of the Susquehanna River down into Maryland to Havre de Grace. And one reason I'm going to choose to do that one is because, like I said, I'm hiking the Mason-Dixon Trail, and the Mason-Dixon Trail follows the west side of the Susquehanna River for quite a while in Pennsylvania and down to Maryland. So it makes sense to maybe do that canal, because then it just saves on gas money and stuff too. If I'm going to be in that area hiking and stuff, well, why not do a canal series too on that area? So that's where we're going to start next. I'm not sure when that will be, but I'm going to wait till I get down that area for the Mason-Dixon Trail. So that's when we come up next. But anyway, back to the Union Canal. That's pretty much it for our series. And like I said, if I ever come up with something new or find out new information about some of the locks I didn't find or things like that, who knows, maybe I'll there's other videos I could do on the Union Canal too. So in a way, like I said, the series is not necessarily officially over. It'll never be over in some ways, but as far as our journey along it, we kind of reached the end here. So I'm not feeling anything super momentous, just largely because we got to the spot that was the end. That there wasn't really anything to see. It'd be cool if there was just even like a historical marker there. Because when I talked to that one guy, the homeowner there, he had no idea that was a significant spot. But anyway, one can only dream or wish or hope, whatever. So anyway, yeah, thanks for coming along with me on this venture. You know, if you followed me along the whole way on this series, you can let me know down in the comments. If you've been with us the whole time, it has been quite a journey, but we've come to an end. Like I said, there might be more videos in the future, but for now we've come to an end. Alright, it's a hot one, folks. We get back in the air conditioning. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me, and hopefully we'll see you all on the next video or on the next journey.